The galaxy laughed at humans, tiny, fragile, and weak. On Virelia, a world ruled by towering predators, every step could be death. But one human felt something no one else did, a spark inside the mind of the hunters themselves. And in that moment the impossible began. The sky over Virelia was a swirl of dark clouds and red lightning, casting jagged shadows over the alien cliffs. The human colony huddled behind makeshift shelters, shivering in the cold wind that carried strange, metallic scents. Every sound was magnified here, the crack of rocks falling, the screech of unseen creatures. The predators were out there, moving silently, their massive forms blending into the jagged terrain. "Stay low. Don't make a sound," yelled Commander Vance, his voice tight with fear. His hand shook as he aimed a rifle that barely seemed capable of harming anything on this world. The humans pressed against the cliff walls, hearts pounding, eyes darting across the jagged horizon. Eli, a young scout, felt a strange prickle at the back of his mind, like whispers brushing against his thoughts. He rubbed his temples. "Do you hear that?" he asked the nearest soldier. "Hear what?" The soldier glanced at him nervously, gripping his weapon tighter. "The predators are everywhere. Don't start imagining things now." But Eli's mind was not imagining. He could feel something, faint, distant, and strangely alive. It was like a pulse, subtle yet sharp, threading through the air. His stomach twisted with fear and awe. He took a cautious step forward, eyes fixed on the cliffs above. Suddenly a shadow shifted. A massive shape, taller than the tallest building back on Earth, crouched at the ridge, its eyes glinting with intelligence. The predators moved in perfect silence, their limbs long and coiled like springs, muscles rippling beneath alien skin. Even from a distance, Eli could feel their attention focused on him. A chill ran down his spine. "Commander, there's one, up there," Eli stammered, pointing. The commander squinted through the haze. "Get down. Everyone fall back." The colony scrambled as the shadow vanished, melting into the red mist like it had never been there. But the sense of being watched did not leave Eli. It grew, a silent weight pressing against his mind. Later, when the storm of fear had passed, the colony gathered in their central shelter. Eli sat apart, fingers clutching his head. I think I can feel them," he muttered. "Their thoughts, maybe their intentions. I'm not sure how, but it's like they're talking in my head." "Talking?" Vance snapped, eyes blazing. "You mean to tell me you're hearing the monsters now? Don't be ridiculous. Get some rest." Eli shook his head, heart racing. "I'm not crazy. I can sense them. I felt it when that one moved on the ridge. It knew I was watching." A murmur ran through the soldiers nearby, some scoffing, others glancing at Eli with uneasy suspicion. No one wanted to admit it, but a few had felt strange shivers, inexplicable urges, when the predators approached. Night fell, and the alien winds screamed like tortured spirits across the cliffs. Eli wandered toward the edge of the shelter, drawn by the same subtle pulse. The air tasted electric, and the scent of the predators was stronger now, metallic, sharp, alive. He froze as the shadow appeared again, just beyond a jagged rock formation, watching him with piercing eyes that seemed almost human in their awareness. His breath caught in his throat. He wanted to run, to hide, but something compelled him to stay. The pulse was louder now, thrumming through his chest. His mind reached out, tentatively, a whisper of thought stretching toward the predator. For a moment the world seemed to pause. The alien's head tilted, and for an instant, it felt acknowledged. A screech shattered the air, high and shrill, splitting Eli's focus. Other predators emerged from the darkness, moving as one, a fluid and terrifying pack. The humans in the colony screamed, firing weapons blindly, the light from their muzzle flashes bouncing off jagged cliffs. Rocks tumbled as the massive forms charged, and Eli felt the pulse spike violently, as though the predators sensed him personally. He staggered back, falling into a shallow crevice, heart hammering, sweat stinging his eyes. The predators circled, their thoughts a torrent of confusion, curiosity, and something else, interest, sharp and alien. Eli realized, with a mixture of fear and wonder, that the connection he felt wasn't just random. They were aware of him. They were watching his mind. "Eli, get back!" Vance shouted from across the clearing, dragging another soldier to cover. But Eli barely heard him. His senses were drowned in the alien awareness, in the rhythm of the predator's pack mind. He could feel their movements, anticipate them, almost understand them. The largest predator stepped forward, its shadow swallowing the moonlight. Eli froze, pulse racing in tandem with the creature's silent heartbeat. The storm wind howled and the red lightning cracked the sky, illuminating the predator's immense form. It crouched, watching, waiting as if testing him. Eli's own heart pounded with a mixture of terror and awe. Something deep inside him urged him to reach out again, to try and touch the predator's mind. He hesitated. One wrong thought could mean death, not just for him but for the colony if the predators decided to hunt in earnest. Then a whisper echoed in his head, not his own, not anyone else's, but a sharp alien thought. Do you dare? Eli swallowed hard, eyes locked on the predator. He knew that whatever he did next could change everything. And in that instant he realized that this connection, whatever it was, might be the first step in something no one could have imagined. The predator's massive head lowered, eyes narrowing, studying him. Eli's pulse raced. He took a cautious step forward. And then the wind carried a scream from the cliffs above, echoing across the jagged landscape. He was not alone. The winds over Virilia had died down, leaving an eerie silence that pressed against the colony like a living thing. Eli sat on a jagged rock, knees pulled to his chest, eyes fixed on the horizon where the predators had disappeared moments ago. His chest heaved, sweat mixing with dirt streaked across his face. The alien thoughts still lingered in his mind, sharp as splintered glass. He heard a soft voice behind him. Eli, are you okay? It was Lyra, another scout, her expression tight with worry. She stepped cautiously closer, scanning the dark cliffs for any movement. I think so, Eli murmured, voice shaking. But it's not just about surviving. I can feel them. Their thoughts, their curiosity. It's like they're watching me, thinking about me. Lyra's eyes widened. Thinking about you? Eli, they're predators. They kill without thought. Don't tell me you mean. I don't know, he interrupted, rubbing his temples. It's just flashes, emotions, patterns. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes confusion. I feel them in waves, like a tide I can't control. A sudden roar echoed from the cliffs, cutting through the tense air. Lyra grabbed his arm. They're back. The predators emerged, not in a single line this time, but scattered, testing the area in irregular patterns. One massive shadow moved ahead of the rest, scanning the terrain, its eyes glowing faintly under the crimson clouds. Eli froze, heart hammering in rhythm with the creature's silent pulse. They're learning, he whispered. They're adapting to us. Then we run, Lyra said firmly, dragging him toward the colony's makeshift barricades. But Eli stopped, shaking his head. No, wait. I think maybe I can communicate somehow. Lyra blinked, alarm flickering across her face. Communicate? Eli, they'll kill you before you get a chance. This isn't a game. I know, he said, his voice steady despite the fear clawing at him. But I can try. I feel them, Lyra. I think I can make them hesitate. The colony watched from the shelters as Eli stepped forward, alone, toward a boulder where the largest predator had crouched moments ago. His mind raced, trying to stretch the strange connection he had felt before. He focused on the faintest ripple of thought, reaching for it like a thread. The predator's head tilted, its glowing eyes locking onto him. Eli could sense a wave of awareness sweep over him, sharp and alien, probing for weakness. He clenched his fists, focusing harder, and reached out with something more than fear, something instinctive, something human. A small pulse of thought surged from him, faint but deliberate. He didn't understand why or how, but it moved through the predator's mind like a whisper. The creature paused mid-step, confused. Its ears twitched, muscles tense. The others hesitated too, their coordinated movement faltering for the first time. Did you see that? Lyra whispered, awe and fear mixing in her voice. It stopped. You did something. Eli swallowed hard, feeling both pride and terror. I don't know what I did. It's like I touched them. Their minds. But it's dangerous. I think they'll notice if I push too far. A screech split the air, closer and louder than before. From behind the ridge, another predator appeared, larger and more terrifying than the first. Its limbs were thick with muscle, its eyes burning with a savage intelligence. The pulse in Eli's mind surged violently, a wave of raw, alien emotion that almost knocked him off his feet. The colony panicked, firing weapons that barely scratched the alien hide. Rocks tumbled as the predator charged, closing the distance with impossible speed. Eli felt the pulse again, stronger now, almost as if the predator were testing him personally. He staggered, head spinning, but he realized he could predict its movements, small, subtle patterns that betrayed the creature's focus. Eli, behind you. Lyra screamed, pointing to the other predators circling from the shadows. Instinct and fear drove him forward. He ducked behind a jagged rock, the predator skidding past with a ground-shaking roar. The pulse in his mind screamed, confusing, chaotic, but he clenched his teeth and reached out again. A subtle thought slipped into the predator's awareness, a fleeting hesitation, and the giant paused mid-leap, muscles coiling in uncertainty. The colony watched in stunned silence. Eli felt the strain in his mind like fire, sweat dripping into his eyes. He could sense not just the predators but their group mind, the shared rhythm that had made them unstoppable. And now, it wavered just slightly. He stumbled back toward Lyra, gasping. I think I can influence them. Not fully, but I can slow them. Just a little. Lyra grabbed his shoulder, her eyes wide. That's insane. If they sense you're controlling them, they'll kill us all. Eli shook his head. No, not control. Confuse them. Make them doubt. I don't know how long I can do this, but I can buy us time. We need to move, now. The predators hesitated, one giant head lowering as if studying him. Eli felt a jolt of fear. The alien intelligence was aware of him, thinking, analyzing. And yet, the pulse continued, faint, almost curious. Then a deep, resonant growl rolled across the cliffs. Not from the predator he had been focusing on, but from something else, something massive, unseen, moving through the rocks and shadows. The ground trembled beneath the colony and Eli froze. He could feel it in his mind before he saw it. Another presence, older, stronger, something that dwarfed even the apex predator. The pulse of its thoughts hit him like a wave, terrifying and intoxicating all at once. Lyra grabbed his arm. Eli, what is that? I don't know, he whispered, voice shaking. But it's coming. And it knows we're here. The predators around the colony tensed, their focus shifting. The very air seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Eli's heart pounded. Somehow, the new presence had changed everything. The ground shuddered again, sending loose rocks clattering down the jagged cliffs. Eli stumbled, gripping the edge of a boulder, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The predators around the colony shifted nervously, their massive bodies frozen in place, as if sensing the presence of something far older, far stronger than themselves. The pulse in Eli's mind surged violently, sharp and alien, and he staggered backward. Eli, are you still standing? Lyra shouted, grabbing his arm. Her eyes darted toward the cliffs, wide with terror. We need to move. Whatever it is, it's coming this way. He shook his head, panting, trying to focus. The predators were staring, their attention divided between him and the unseen force. The connection he had felt before, the ability to sense and nudge their thoughts, felt weak, almost useless against this new presence. Yet a strange thrill ran through him. Something inside his mind whispered that he could still act, still influence, if he dared. Suddenly, one of the apex predators broke from the group. Its long limbs flexed, coiled like springs, and it lunged toward the colony with terrifying speed. Screams erupted from the humans as rocks and debris flew. Eli felt the predator's intent before it even moved. His pulse raced, but instinct kicked in. He projected a surge of thought, an image of hesitation, doubt, fear, and the predator faltered mid-leap. Did you see that? Whispered Lyra, her face pale. You made it stop? I didn't make it stop. I just pushed it, Eli replied, voice trembling. He rubbed his temples, feeling the strain in his mind. Each predator was like a storm of alien thoughts, and now the new force pressed on the edges of his senses, confusing him. From the shadows of the cliffs, more predators emerged, larger, stronger, moving in ways the humans had never seen. Their coordinated pack mind was nearly flawless, but Eli noticed small cracks, tiny flickers of hesitation in their rhythm. His eyes widened. He realized he could exploit these tiny flaws, but it would require everything he had. A predator charged at him from the side, and Eli barely rolled behind a jagged rock. The impact of its massive limb shook the ground, sending dust and pebbles into the air. Eli's chest heaved as he pressed his hands to his head. Focus. Don't panic, he told himself. You can feel them. You can push them. Eli, are you insane? Lyra shouted. You're going to get us killed. I have to, he snapped, voice sharp with panic and determination. If I don't, we're done. He focused again, sending a surge of thought into the predator that had attacked him. It stopped abruptly, muscles twitching as it hesitated. For a moment, the alien's glowing eyes seemed almost uncertain. The predator circled slowly, sniffing the air, and then another predator faltered behind it, following suit. Keep going. Lyra yelled, eyes wide. She covered her face as a massive claw swiped close, sending sparks from the rocks. Do something, whatever it is, just do it. Eli swallowed hard. He felt his mind stretching, pulsing with the rhythm of the predators. Their thoughts, once separate, were like threads woven together, a tapestry of hunting instinct. And he was reaching into it, tugging, twisting, nudging. He could make them hesitate, confuse them, even doubt each other, but it was exhausting, and the presence from before loomed closer, a pressure he could not ignore. A loud, vibrating growl shook the cliffs. Dust fell like rain. The predators froze, their bodies stiff, as if sensing something more terrifying than themselves. Eli could feel the ancient presence moving closer, a pulse that drowned out the predator's thoughts. He stumbled, clutching his head as waves of alien emotion slammed into him. Awe, curiosity, hunger, and something deeper, darker, and cold. Eli, are you okay? Lyra yelled, gripping his shoulder. I think so, he gasped. But there's something else. Something bigger. Something stronger than all of them. It's watching us. The predators began to retreat slightly, huddling as if instinctively aware that this new force demanded respect. Eli's mind screamed in confusion. How could something so massive remain unseen, yet dominate the apex predators so completely? Then one predator, braver or perhaps more reckless, broke from the group. Its eyes burned toward him, curious, testing his limits. Eli's pulse shot. It wants to see what I can do. He focused, pushing a thought of fear into the alien mind, just a hint, enough to make it hesitate. The predator froze mid-step, muscles taut. For a brief moment Eli felt a surge of power. He could influence them, even the strongest, if he dared. Eli, Lyra's voice trembled. You can't keep this up alone. I know, he said quietly, sweat streaming down his face. But maybe I can buy us time. Just enough to survive, or escape. The cliff above them groaned. Dust rained down. The unseen presence moved closer, a shadow stretching over the colony, its size dwarfing even the largest predator. The air pulsed with energy and the ground shook beneath their feet. Eli swallowed, heart hammering. The predators no longer hunted aggressively, they watched, tense and alert, aware of something beyond themselves. Eli took a step forward, feeling the alien pulse press against him. He could manipulate the predators, yes, but this new force was different. It knows me. It knows what I am. A jagged shadow shifted across the cliffs and Eli's stomach dropped. The predators stiffened and a deep, resonant growl echoed through the canyon, shaking rocks loose. Lyra grabbed his arm tightly, her eyes wide with fear. It's coming, she whispered. Eli swallowed hard, feeling both fear and a spark of something new, curiosity, determination, a flicker of hope. He had survived the predators, he had tested the limits of his mind, but this was something else entirely. Something that could change everything. The shadow loomed closer, stretching over the jagged cliffs like a moving darkness that swallowed the red lightning. Eli's stomach twisted as he watched the predators freeze in awe and fear, their coordinated minds fractured by the presence. The wind howled through the canyon, carrying a deep vibration that shook the rocks beneath their feet. Lyra gripped his arm, trembling. Eli, what is it? How do we fight something like that? Eli's eyes narrowed. He felt it too, not in sight, not in sound, but in thought. A pulse, enormous and alien, rolled through the predator's minds, pushing at his own. It was overwhelming, like trying to swim through a storm of fire and ice at the same time. I don't know, he admitted, voice strained. But maybe I can reach it. Maybe I can push back. Are you crazy? Lyra shouted. You barely survived the predators. And now you want to touch that thing in its mind. Eli shook his head. It's not about touching. It's about understanding. I can feel it, its rhythm. If I try, maybe I can make it hesitate. Just a little. The unseen presence shifted, sending a wave of psychic energy that knocked both humans off their feet. Dust and rocks tumbled around them. Eli gasped, pressing his hands to his head as alien thoughts slammed into him. The predators skittered back, eyes wide, claws digging into the dirt as if holding themselves steady against a force they couldn't comprehend. Focus, Eli, Lyra yelled. Whatever you're doing, don't stop. He clenched his teeth, shutting out the screams and roars and the pounding wind. He reached out with his mind, threading a careful, trembling connection toward the predators again. A flicker of hesitation in the pack's coordinated attack responded almost instantly. Encouraged, Eli pushed further, weaving a subtle rhythm into the predators' thoughts, nudging them into uncertainty without breaking their natural instincts. The largest predator froze mid-step, muscles coiling as if it could sense the new force moving toward them. Its glowing eyes flicked from Eli to the darkness above, trying to understand what had interrupted its dominance. Eli could feel its confusion, its pride, its fear, its desire to dominate, and he whispered into that confusion, planting doubt without ever touching its body. Eli, it's working, Lyra said in disbelief, her voice trembling. She pointed to the ridge where the apex predator had paused. It stopped moving. It's hesitating. Eli swallowed hard, sweat running down his temple. His mind was aching from the effort, every nerve screaming in warning, but he sensed he had only moments. The alien presence above them pulsed again, stronger this time, pressing against his consciousness. He could feel a pattern in its vast mind, a rhythm he had never encountered. And then, something shocking, it was aware of him specifically. A low, resonant growl rolled through the cliffs, vibrating into their bones. The predators trembled, retreating slightly, and Eli felt the pulse of the colossal entity brushing against his mind like the tide brushing against a cliff. His head spun. Testing me, probing me, measuring me. He gritted his teeth, forcing his mind outward. If I falter now, the predators will fall and the colony will die. His thoughts reached further, brushing against the predator's packed mind, weaving subtle hesitation, nudging fear and doubt into their instincts. The effect was immediate. The predators wavered, stepping back, growling in frustration, their instincts at war with the foreign presence above. Lyra gasped. Eli, what are you doing to them? They're stopping. I'm not stopping them, he panted, clutching his head. I'm making them hesitate, just enough. The unseen force pulsed again and Eli felt a shocking wave of emotion, anger, curiosity, and something deeper. It wants to challenge me, he realized, heart hammering. The predators sensed it too, their eyes flicking toward the dark ridge, tails twitching, limbs coiled like springs ready to explode. One predator stepped forward, braver than the rest, its glowing eyes fixed on Eli. He focused, threading a whisper of fear, hesitation, and doubt into its mind. The creature froze, muscles taut, claws scraping the rock beneath it. Its roar faded into a low growl as it struggled against the invisible influence. Eli, Lyra breathed, her hands gripping his shoulders. This is insane, you're actually... Another tremor hit the ground, louder this time. The shadows above shifted, revealing the massive form of the presence. A dark silhouette against the crimson clouds, towering, with shapes Eli could barely comprehend. The predators scattered slightly, their coordinated minds breaking further, unable to resist both him and the alien force. Eli's heart raced. He realized something terrifying. This presence wasn't trying to attack them, yet. It was probing, learning, gauging the human's mind. And the predators, once feared rulers of Virilia, were now uncertain, hesitant, vulnerable in a way Eli had never imagined. He swallowed hard, voice low. Lyra, I think I can influence them, all of them at once. But it will take everything. Every ounce of focus I have. Lyra's eyes widened in fear and awe. Eli, don't. You could. I have to, he interrupted, staring at the ridge. If I falter, we all die. The predators bristled, muscles coiled, eyes glowing. The colossal presence above pressed closer, its thoughts a tidal wave of curiosity and challenge. Eli could feel the immense pressure on his mind, but also the strange thrill of power, the ability to touch minds far beyond his species, bending fear and hesitation into a weapon. He drew a deep breath, bracing against the psychic storm, and reached deeper than he ever had before. The predators froze mid-step, growls dying in their throats, and the shadow above seemed to pause, tilting toward him as if measuring his resolve. The canyon fell into tense silence. Dust swirled around the humans, rocks balanced on edges, and the predators trembled, caught between instinct and hesitation. Eli's mind burned with effort, sweat dripping, heart hammering, but he felt a spark, something within him that pushed back against the alien presence, testing it, challenging it, refusing to yield. The crimson clouds churned violently above the cliffs, casting jagged shadows across the human colony. Eli stood at the edge of a boulder, sweat streaked across his face, chest heaving, eyes locked on the enormous shadow looming above. The predators had fallen silent, their glowing eyes wide with confusion, muscles trembling. The air vibrated with power, a hum that seemed to pierce the mind itself. Lyra gripped his arm, fear and awe painted across her face. Eli, it's massive, what is it? I don't know, he whispered, voice tight. But I can feel it, it's mine. And I think I can reach it. The predators stirred, massive bodies coiling instinctively, but hesitation held them frozen. Eli's heart raced. He focused all his energy reaching through the alien pulse, threading his thoughts into the predator's fractured minds. A ripple of confusion moved through them. Fear, doubt, hesitation. They weren't attacking. They were listening. Eli, be careful, Lyra said. If it senses you, if it fights back. I have to, he said, cutting her off, voice firm despite the terror. If I falter, we die. The massive shadow above shifted slightly, a ripple of thought pressing against Eli like tidal waves of ice and fire. Its mind was sharp, probing, curious, even amused. He could feel it judging him, testing him, seeing if a single human could challenge the apex of Virilia. Eli swallowed hard, then projected a single, deliberate pulse into the predator's minds, blending fear and dominance. The largest predator froze mid-step, muscles taut, eyes flicking between Eli and the colossal entity. Its roar died, replaced by a low whine of confusion. One by one the others hesitated, their coiled bodies like springs caught in tension. Eli felt a thrill, a strange rush of power. The predators, once unstoppable, were listening, reacting to him. Eli, you're doing it, Lyra whispered, voice trembling. You're controlling them, in a way. He shook his head. Not control, influence. Just enough to make them hesitate. To survive. The shadow pulsed again, this time directly against his mind. A flood of alien thought crashed over him, strength, intelligence, and a deep, cold awareness. The predators quivered beneath its presence, as if the entity itself commanded respect that no force on Virilia could challenge. Eli gasped, sweat blinding his vision. I can't, he thought. I can't hold it alone. And yet, a spark inside him flared. He pushed harder, threading patience, fear, and hesitation into the predator's minds while maintaining his fragile connection to the unseen force above. One predator blinked, then another, and a chain reaction rippled through the pack. Confusion spread like wildfire. Even the largest predator, the one that had once stalked him with absolute certainty, stopped, head tilting as if trying to comprehend what had disrupted its instincts. Lyra gripped his shoulder, whispering urgently, "Keep going, just a little more." Eli closed his eyes, focusing on a single thought: survival, courage, humanity. The pulse of the predators, once a thunderous storm of instinct, now faltered. Hesitation replaced certainty. The colossal shadow above shifted again, immense form towering, but Eli felt it pause as if measuring his resolve. A rumble rolled through the cliffs, shaking dust from jagged rocks. The predators, once feared rulers of Virilia, crouched, frozen by uncertainty. Eli's mind ached, every nerve on fire, but he pushed one last thread of thought, a mixture of dominance, clarity, and subtle warning. The apex predator's glowing eyes widened. Then, slowly, deliberately, it lowered its massive head. One by one the others followed, muscles relaxing, roars fading into low growls. The predators were silent, tense, unsure, held in place by something they could not understand. Lyra exhaled, a trembling laugh escaping her lips. Eli, you did it. They're silent. Eli's chest heaved, sweat dripping into his eyes. I don't know if I did it, or if it chose to stop. But, for now we survived. The crimson storm above began to thin slightly, revealing jagged cliffs and distant ridges. The colossal shadow shifted once more, its thoughts brushing against Eli's mind, not hostile but measured, intelligent, and ancient. Eli shivered. He had survived, influenced the predators, and earned a fragile pause in their fury, but he felt something in the alien presence that whispered of challenges yet unseen. Eli, what now? Lyra asked softly, still holding his arm, voice full of awe. I don't know, he admitted. But, whatever that thing is, it's still out there. Watching. Learning. Waiting. And I think, it's only the beginning. The predators, once merciless hunters, slowly turned away from the humans, glancing at the shadow above them with deference and caution. Eli stepped back, chest heaving, realizing that even the apex of Virilia could be silenced, but only temporarily. The connection, the influence he had used, had limits, and the shadow above reminded him that the galaxy was far larger, far older, and far more dangerous than anything they had yet encountered. He looked to the horizon, the crimson sky shifting to a duller red as the storm began to fade. The predators remained silent, watching, confused and cautious. Eli felt exhaustion wash over him, every nerve trembling, but also a quiet pride. Humanity had endured, had survived against a species designed to destroy them, and he, just one human, had made a difference. Lyra's hand squeezed his shoulder. You saved us. Eli. Somehow, you saved us. He nodded, though his mind was still buzzing with the alien pulse. For now, yes. But this world, this galaxy, it's full of things we can't even imagine. And I have a feeling, this was just the first test. From the distant cliffs, the shadow above shifted, immense and silent, watching the human who dared to challenge it. The predators remained still, tense, obedient to instincts they could no longer fully trust. And Eli, chest heaving, stared into the vast unknown, realizing that survival was only the beginning, and the universe still had far greater challenges waiting.